Just a quick question. Are there any parents here? Because the front row looks too young to be just give me a raise here. I just want to make sure I'm speaking to the right crowd. That's amazing. And as parents, I know we've all been through this moment. And it's a moment where you turn around and your child is gone. Your heart slowly starts to race. You start calling out their name. You start looking into the crowd. You start looking through aisles, under tables, wherever you can look. And panic starts to set in. Actually, panic starts to replace logic. Has anyone been there before? When you've lost a child, it's a scary experience. But I want you to imagine something a little bit different. I want you to imagine that that child is not able to speak. I want you to imagine that that child isn't able to say his or her own name. I want you to imagine that if a stranger was to go up to this child and ask, "Are you alone? Do you need any help?" they may not be able to respond. Or even worse, I want you to imagine that no one even knew this child was lost. This is something that families like mine or parents that have autistic children go through on a daily basis. Now, this isn't for every autistic child, but there's a high percentage of autistic children that attempt to go their runners, which is just like my son. It's very, very scary. And our system is set up to panic when stuff like this happens. Our system relies on panic, or you have to have some expensive technology. And let's be quite frank, a lot of our families don't have that sort of money to be able to get the latest technology, but hopefully that changes with AI. But I would like to introduce you to a little secret of mine. This is my why. That's my beautiful, amazing, handsome son. His name is Storm. And just looking and analyzing this photo, I can see that whoever his father is, I don't know who his father is, but he must be a sexy man. I'm telling you right now, just looking at that photo. But my son, he's 7 years old. His name is Storm, and he is non-speaking. A lot of people know it as like non-verbal. So he doesn't communicate through talking. So you can imagine the sort of challenges that come with it. Like we don't know, like if he was to get himself injured, or if he was sick. Small things like that make a huge difference. Not being able to ask your kid, what's wrong? And he has taught me so much. He's taught me so much about patience. I wish I had those skills earlier, because I'm about to go bold. I'm about to join Boldy Guys soon. The second part that always comes to my mind is empathy. He's taught me so much about empathy, and I have so much love and so much passion for our autistic community. Not just our autistic community, our disability community as a whole. I love that space. And I would say the most powerful would be love. Love with no verbal communication. We have to figure out how to understand each other through different frequencies, through laughing, through emotions. I know there was a big talk about emotions today, and that really got me, because that's how me and my son communicate. And I also have two beautiful daughters. I said a little lie, and my kids say, just want to make a shout out to my wife as well. She's in the audience, but our kids definitely get their looks from them. Mm-hmm. We have two amazing daughters as well. They're not on the spectrum, but being able to ensure that our kids are not going to wander, the ones that are not on the spectrum, all I do is give them the old eyebrow. Or I give them the, hey, stay right there. And it's quite simple. And I wish my mum done that for me when I was a kid, because she used to give me something physical. Yeah. Hi, Mum. She's on live. But with our son, it's a whole different kettle, it's a whole different breed. And believe me, we've tried this and 100 other techniques, and it's something that we've had to learn over time, that we've had to be a lot more patient with them, and that You know, the good old eyebrow and the good old hey may not work, and he needs to learn that in his own time. And I just want to pinpoint as well, like, our kids that may be on the spectrum, they don't have behavioral issues. They're just wired differently. That's neurology. And also like to pinpoint as well, just for any parents out there that may be watching, you have kids on the spectrum, you're not a bad parent. This is something that a whole lot of parents are going through as well, and we're trying to figure this out. But going back to panic, when a kid gets lost, our system relies on the good old, can you please reshare this post? Can you put this on your story? Can you post this on like private Facebook groups? And that's how our system deals with a child that goes missing. Or on the opposite end, you've really got to have like a lot of money to have this technology. Not every parent and not every child is able to afford that. So with our current system, that's how we deal with it. And for me as a father, I wasn't trying to create like the next product, and I definitely wasn't trying to be the next Steve Jobs. But I needed to think of what is the best way to protect my son. And from a father, like, it's massive to me. I want to make sure that I give my kids the best, and especially growing up state housing, South Auckland, and not having a present father and not knowing my grandfathers. For me, my biggest thing was to make sure that I was going to end that, and I wanted to do the best for my kids. And my son happens to be on the spectrum. So it gets a little bit complicated, and what we really wanted to do is how can we simplify this? So sometimes when we're out in public and my kid does some like a bit of sensory needs and people may not understand what autism is, we would approach them, and 99% of the time they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. I had no idea, because autism is an invisible disability, or super ability, how some other people see it. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. But there's different, some people see it as an amazing ability and disability, but the key thing for us was having a child that may not be able to communicate, and us having to always go out and advocate for them. We're like, why don't we just take that messaging and slap it onto a t-shirt? And it worked massive wonders. It's been like, not just for my son, but for other kids like him, for adults. And as simple as it seems, like, it's made massive changes. The second part, with our son being like he likes to wander, is if he was to go missing. Like I said in the beginning, imagine this kid not being able to speak. How would anyone be able to return him back safely? So we didn't want to invent new technology. We leaned into the humble QR code. Love the good old QR code, so many purposes for it. But what we did was we wanted to just add a little bit of zest to it, just a little bit of flavor. And each kid will get assigned, or they get assigned a unique QR code that's designated to them. And on a personal note, this happened with my son. So the police found him and they just had no idea on how to return him back. So what we also done was put this QR code onto his clothing. That's also multi-purpose, and it wasn't like a business idea or product. It was really about me as a father and how can I ensure that he has the most protection possible. So if he was to go missing, you give it a quick scan. It'll give you like a few quick sentences about him and that he's not able to communicate verbally. And 3 caregivers. And if they're not able to answer, there's also an option where you can send a custom message. And the main thing for that, for us, was how can we give them that extra protection? So we wanted the clothing to speak for itself, so we didn't have to always, get up and have to advocate for them. It does get a little bit tiring, I must say, but with this, it speaks for himself and it gives them that extra layer of protection, and that was a really big thing for us as parents. And what we wanted to make sure was that, going back to the whole panic, the system relies on panic, we weren't trying to get any louder. We were really just trying to, work a lot smarter And there's a saying, we all know the saying, we were trying to build something before the emergency, and prevention is better than cure. And that's how we seen it, and we really just wanted to simplify it. And as simple as a t-shirt. I know Monique was talking about putting it on the t-shirt if you believe it, and we really resonated with that, and that's what we really wanted to do. So our dream is for this kind of thinking to be a global standard in autism, and for us it's more than a product. And that's honestly just a father that is so concerned and had like a lot of fear. Not just myself, there's so many other parents out there that have to face this. It's just trying to give them as much protection as they can. And like I said, I wish that the good old eyebrow raise would work, or the good old hey, but we still have a long way to go, and that's something that we're really trying to figure out. And if there's one thing that I could leave you beautiful people with, is we're not trying to look for any sort of feeling sorry for us or anything like that. Our biggest thing is just understanding and empathy. If you could have like a little bit more empathy, you know, like if you see a kid out there that might be like at a shopping center, or there might be, just my only message is I hope you don't be quick to judge. They might actually be on the spectrum. And yes, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening to my talk.